What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So before we get into the topic of today's video, I do want to say that it is a little bit more of a serious kind of topic, and therefore a lot of times when you talk about anything that's ED related on YouTube, they demonetize the videos. So all I'm asking, if you are watching this video and you enjoy the content, could I just get a thumbs up? I usually don't ask for that, but if the video gets demonetized, it just completely tanks the chance of it getting into recommended feeds. So hopefully I'm trying with the thumbs up, I'm trying to combat that and hope that it doesn't absolutely get tanked. So if you could do that, I would really, really appreciate it. But again, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so I was kind of just chilling, you know, and then I got a message about an Instagram post that someone wanted me to talk about. And so I thought that this one would be kind of interesting to talk about. It's a little bit of a different topic, but I do think that it's something important because it's something that I have talked about a good amount of times actually on the channel, especially when we were talking about, you know, we were talking about like the Jen Peach stuff, the Olivia stuff, and all that. It kind of got brought up a lot. So this is the post that we're going to be talking about. So it's from Hey Tiffany Rowe, and so it says National Awareness Week. So this was posted, I think, about a week ago. And it's talking about orthorexia. So it says National Awareness Week, and then facts about orthorexia from a licensed mental health professional. So we're just going to go through this and kind of read through it and share our thoughts on it. So first thing, so we're going to go through the slides first, and then we'll go into the caption. So no body size is associated with orthorexia. Orthorexia is not a choice. It is a psychological disease with genetic and environmental factors. Recovery is possible. So the first thing that I kind of want to, like, if you guys don't maybe don't really know what orthorexia is, it is an eating disorder that is about like the types of food that you eat. So, and this is my stripped down experience and version of it. Okay, so it might not be exactly perfect, but from what I understand, orthorexia is a way of eating that you become hyper focused on the ingredients of foods, and you become hyper focused on eating clean foods, and like you can only eat healthy foods. You're not allowed to have anything that's considered unhealthy, because it might not even, it's not even always, I don't think, necessarily about being afraid of gaining weight, but like you think that if I eat something that is quote unquote unhealthy, it's going to like poison myself. You know what I mean? So it's less just about the weight. It's more about like, I need to be pure kind of thing. Okay, so it's something that a lot of people struggle with though. So it says no body size is associated with orthorexia. Orthorexia is not a choice. It is a psychological disease with genetic and environmental factors. Recovery is possible. I agree. Recovery definitely is possible. So it goes on to say compulsive checking of ingredient lists and nutritional labels, an increase in concern about the health of ingredients. Now, this is something that a lot of people you can get, it's really, really easy to get caught up in this because like, especially, and this is like when people talk about like, I tracked for X amount of years and then I developed an eating disorder, developed disordered eating. This is what a lot of people end up, like this is what they're talking about a lot of the times. Not always, but a lot of times people become very obsessed with reading, like they can't shop without reading the back of every single thing that they're eating, every single thing that they're buying. This is, it happens to a lot of people, okay? So I'm like 100%. And then an increase in the concern of the health of ingredients. Next slide. Cutting out an increasing number of food groups, all sugar, all carbs, all dairy, all meat, all animal products. Now, I can almost guarantee that because she said this, people are going to be upset. So I think that it's important to say, like, there are definitely a lot of people that go vegan, and I'm 100% no. There are a lot of people that go vegan, and it has nothing to do with health reasons, right? It's because they have like animal, they care about the animals. It's like, it's for other reasons other than quote unquote health. But I'm sure that there are people that go down that path because they want to quote unquote be the healthiest version of themselves, right? So, but I'm sure that's probably going to catch some flack for that one. Moving on, it says an inability to eat anything but a narrow food group a narrow group of foods that are deemed healthy or pure. Like that's what I was saying. So this is like very, very, very normal behavior. And this is why like I really hate the whole like eat clean kind of thing. I'm just like, dude, because the reason I don't like this is people end up feeling like you have to eat clean, and then if you eat something that isn't clean, you are then so dirty or you are bad, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about like the moralizing of food, like food moralization. Like if you eat something that's bad, then you are then bad and you feel bad. And then that kind of goes down the road of maybe binging a little bit, right? Like that's what I struggled with. Was I definitely had foods that were good and foods that were bad. And when I ate a bad food, I was like, well, I already had a bad food, so I might as well eat all the bad foods because I'm bad and I might as well, right? So like that was the cycle that I dealt with a lot. And so I really do think that with orthorexia, it really can get tied into binge eating a lot. I'm not going to say all the time, but like for me, I definitely felt like they were very closely knit, I guess is the best way to explain it. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. It says unusual interest in the health of what others are eating. Now, this is definitely something that a lot of people you end up struggling with, is like because you feel, I think it kind of seems a little messed up, but I think because of how hard you are working to eat healthy, you do start to feel kind of superior to other people because you're like, I care, like I'm the only person, like I care so much about what I'm putting into my body, and other people should care. And if you don't care, then you obviously don't care about your body and you don't care about yourself. So then you start kind of judging other people. Even if you're like out eating, you get a salad and they get burgers and fries, you're like, oh my God, like how could you do that, right? And then that turns into, people making videos on YouTube and judging other people for what they're eating. We're not going to talk about that. Let's move on. All right, next slide. And then spending hours per day thinking about what food might be served at upcoming events. This is one that is, I would say that this is this is going to go with a lot of different types of disordered eating, right? Like that's not just I don't think she's claiming that it's just orthorexia. But like this is something that a lot of people struggle with regardless of what like disordered eating it might be, because that is something, because I think, okay, I'm just a normal dude, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and try and say that I know everything. But I think that with disordered eating and the reason people go down that path a lot of times is it's a control thing, right? And so when you go to an event and you feel out of control, like that's scary, right? Because you can't control what is being, like what you are being forced to eat kind of, right? Because you're like, there's like the social pressure of like, if you have a plate in front of you and you don't eat anything, people are like, what's wrong with this person, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't want to let everyone know that you have this thing that you're doing. And so it becomes this whole thing where you're like, I have to eat it, right? So then you're like, well, what do you, like you try and figure it out. This is something that a lot of people really, really struggle with. Okay, next slide. Showing high levels of distress when safe or healthy foods aren't available. Yeah, of course. And obsessive following of food and healthy lifestyle blogs on Twitter and Instagram. And then body image concerns may or may not be present. So that's what I was kind of talking about when I was saying it's not just people that are like, it's not only about being quote unquote thin, right? It's more than that. It goes deeper than that. It goes like, instead of just being thin, it's like, I want to be pure. I want my body as a temple, which again, it's like, it makes sense why people go down this path, because when you start caring about your body, you start eating healthier, you start trying to make better decisions, it makes sense to start going further and further and further and further. And then like, the only natural progression is to go this far, it seems like for some people, right? When in reality, I think it's almost like you want to be in the middle, right? So it's like a dial. So it's like, this is healthy, okay? And then if we go down this way, this is getting unhealthy, right? So this is like you're eating anything you want, you're not working out, you're not exercising, you're just doing whatever you want. So you're here. And then it's like, oh, I need to be healthy. Okay, you got to the middle, and then you're like, I need to be really healthy. I need to be really, 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 really healthy. And now you're on this side of the dial, and it's like you have to work out 16 hours a day. You have to eat only broccoli and chicken and rice, and you can't have any, like, it's like, okay, we need to get back to the middle, right? We need to get back to the middle. And I think that it's really, really hard to, like, when you're on either side of that, to, like, find the middle. And I think it's normal to be like, I'm a little bit on this side. I need to rein it back, right? And then you get here and you're like, I kind of went a little too far. I need to rein it back. And like that when we talk about that, like that's why I'd say all of this stuff takes time. And like a lot of people compare themselves to me, which I really hate. I don't want people to do that. But a lot of people compare themselves to me or other people they see on social media. And like I always say, this stuff takes time, right? It just does. Okay, let's read the caption. So she goes on to say, it's Eating Disorder Awareness Week, and it's super important to talk about orthorexia. I agree. Wellness culture and diet culture encourage and praise orthorexia. There, I said it, and I'm pissed about it. Although not formally recognized as an eating disorder in the DSM-5, awareness about orthorexia is on the rise. I think it should be. It's good. The term orthorexia was coined in 1998 and means an obsession with proper or healthful eating. Although being aware and concerned with the nutritional quality of the food you eat isn't a problem, and in and of itself, people with orthorexia become so fixated on so-called healthy eating that they actually damage their own well-being. Source NEDA. And so, yeah, I agree with that. I think that the thing is like there are a lot of people that would say if you are at all concerned, this is where it gets frustrating. There are a lot of people that would say if you are at all concerned about the food that you're putting into your body, if you are tracking in any capacity, then you have orthorexia, or then you have an eating disorder, you have a disordered eating. And it's like I don't think that it's not that cut and dry, right? I think that you can be in that healthy range, but it's like when you start to push it too far, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay. Healthy eating becomes like a religion here. The obsessive disease isn't a choice. Yep, 100%. There is no body size related to orthorexia. I agree with that. All eating disorder symptoms and suffering happen on a spectrum and are deserving of being taken seriously. I think that one of the problems a lot of people deal with orthorexia is that, again, it's like they were saying, is it's a silent thing. Like, and a lot of people that might be orthorexic, they look very fit, right? Because they're taking very good care of their body. That's all in quotes. So they are working out obsessively. They're making sure all of the food that they're eating is perfect. But it's like they aren't living a life, right? Like I feel like when food and exercise isn't helping you live, you are living to do those things. That's probably not a good thing, right? That's probably, I'm not going to say always because there are professional athletes and stuff like that. But like if you're just a normal person that's just like working a 9 to 5 and then it becomes like you all you're thinking about is working out and stuff. I'm not saying everyone, but like, again, just think for yourself, right? If you're going down that road. Studies have shown that many individuals with orthorexia also have obsessive compulsive disorder. And then it says warning signs and symptoms of orthorexia. Okay. Compulsive checking of ingredient lists and nutritional labels, an increase in I think we already read that, but an increased concern in the health of ingredients, cutting out an increasing number of food groups, all sugar, all carbs, all dairy, all meat, all animal products, an inability to eat anything but a narrow group of foods that are deemed healthy or pure, unusual interest in the health of others, what others are eating, spending hours per day thinking about what food might be served at upcoming events, showing high levels of distress when safe or healthy foods aren't available, obsessive following of food and healthy lifestyle blogs online, and then body image concerns may or may not be present. Recovery is possible, and then drop your questions below. And so we'll read this is the top rated comment here. It says, this post is very misleading. Ooh, okay. And should include a disclaimer that while some people with eating disorders may cut out animal products, a vegan diet itself is not disordered eating. It's an ethical lifestyle choice. Oh, okay. Eating a vegan/plant-based diet can be a healthy or unhealthy depending on what foods you consume. Some people with eating disorders may eat a vegan diet. It does not mean that a vegan diet itself is harmful or disordered anyway. So, yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I agree with that. It doesn't seem like what the person was saying was trying to, I think it's just, she was trying to share like what could be a problem here, right? Like this could be a problem if you are struggling with it. But I think that I think it's really good that more people are talking about this. I think that it's something that a lot of people struggle with. And again, like if you have some of these things, like I don't think that you're like a bad person, especially if you are going from somewhere that was really, really unhealthy and you're trying to work your way back, right? It's going to be normal to have a little bit of these things. So don't like feel really worried if you're like, well, I'm starting to notice that I'm checking the back of ingredients. Like if you've never done that and you're just like, well, I'm just curious how many calories are in this thing because I've literally never cared before in my life. I don't think that that's a bad thing. And you're going down a bad path, but it's like, if a lot of these things are making sense, I'm not saying that you have anything, but it's like, just be aware, just be aware.